Hello everyone, I'm Ash from What Culture and I have a sparkly new series for you to put your peepers on called Insane Things. Now, it's not that new as you might recognise it from the wrestling channel with Jules has wanted to bring the format to all things fun that are happening in the flashy images industry. So take a look over there if you want your pickle tickled for all things men in small pants fighting. Nothing but love. As for us right here, right now though, the big and small screen industries have got to the stage where there is so much wonga to go after that people are throwing big old Pokemon Go curveballs, yes that is still relevant, all over the place. Like horror icon Elvira turning up to host Storage Wars this week, Tyler Perry is somehow being allowed to choose to retire Medea, and Nick Cage is back on form with a movie about his dead wife possessing the comatose daughter of a medium to gain revenge. He just can't be stopped, but do we want to stop him? But first, some music. Right, now this was the 7 most insane things happening in film and TV, but as of this morning, it's an 8. So I'm dropping back in a whole new banging outfit to say 8. Gladiator 2 has just been announced. As announced on Deadline, the sequel to 2000 movie Gladiator has been recently confirmed by Ridley Scott to be in the works. Whilst there's no real details on story yet, we do know that Russell Crowe's Maximus won't be making an appearance, at least unless it's from the afterlife. Gladiator 2 has been reported to be the story of Lucilla's son Lucius, also the nephew of the really icky Commodus, though what he'll be getting up to is yet to still be revealed, we don't know. The world of skirts and sandals is soon to be back with us again though, and that is for sure. One can only hope it's as fantastic as the original film that was nominated for 11 Oscars, winning 5 in the process. Whilst the genre was revisited by Scott in the markedly less impressive Exodus Gods and Kings in 2014, we're just going to say it was a practice run. I hope. 7. The greatest or worst movie song video has emerged. Back in 1998, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the freshest of Fresh Princes, Will Smith, recorded A Nightmare on My Street as a sort of ode to Freddy Krueger, which was considered for but rejected from inclusion on the soundtrack to A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. You can listen for yourself if you want to figure out why. Summertime, it is not. Apparently unconcerned, the pair still released the song, prompting New Line Cinema to sue them for copyright infringement and forcing the record label to destroy the video. They eventually settled out of court, and the Prince and Jeff had to include a disclaimer on the album it came from, stating, "This song is not a part of the soundtrack and is not authorised, licensed or affiliated with the Nightmare on Elm Street films." Not that you'd think that from seeing the weird Frankenstein fake Freddy that they made for the set. That is rather brilliant, but still. Strangely, 30 years on from that case, the video, which was directed by Scott Calvert and had been thought long lost, has turned up on YouTube out of the blue, and it is really quite something. Featuring, again, this bastardized version of Freddy Krueger they seem to have invented for the video. It's great. Please watch it. It is ridiculous. 6. Henry Cavill's The Witcher reveal. Not so long ago, Whacking Phoenix and his Joker origin movie director Todd Phillips released a gimmicked makeup test online revealing the first look at his new Joker. It went down so well that Netflix have clearly decided to go for a similar approach for upcoming show The Witcher, which is set to star outgoing Superman Henry Cavill. Oh, what a nice guy. Only they didn't exactly nail it, partly because Cavill's Geralt is nowhere near the finished look. They've basically just put a wig on him, told him to vaguely look concerned, and then put on his best sexy roleplay face. There are some strong emo Legolas and Highlander vibes, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Given how much money Netflix have, you've really got to wonder why their wig budget is clearly so low. It's all a little bit what you ordered from Wish versus what actually arrives. I mean, you could ask, are you having a giraffe wig?
Oi, 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 you ginger clam. I am not letting you have the gimmick. I'm fine with you doing the show in principle, but I will not be made to look a fool online by the likes of you. Good day! I can't see, but I'm still indignant. Am I in shock?
5. There's a family-friendly Deadpool 2 coming out. Deadpool reinvented R-rated comic book movies and opened up a brave new world where studios realise it's possible to make more outrageous grown-up movies that can make money instead of having to broadly appeal to a family audience. They'd be able to swear, deal with darker material, and get a whole lot more violent, and boy, did Deadpool 2 take advantage. Now, in a weird move that seems to be some sort of advanced form of trolling, I'm not entirely sure, Fox are releasing another cut of Deadpool 2, which is aiming for a PG-13 rating and a broader family audience, as a joke by the look of it. They've even filmed new scenes for it, meaning fans of the original will want to see it, but also be forced to watch a sanitised version of what they loved, possibly without some of the things that they loved about it in the first place. This is all well and good for Fox getting more money out of the fans, but it doesn't really make any sense. Though, when you consider the problems with the rest of Fox's Marvel schedule, it's not that surprising that they'd milk a successful teat for as much as they can. 4. Eleven was originally supposed to die in Stranger Things. Stranger Things has a lot of great characters and a fair number who fans really got behind after the first season. We all stand the central four, but the likes of Barb, Eleven, and particularly Steve, who was reimagined as some sort of loving maternal presence, stood out arguably even more. That makes it all the more strange that the original plan was to kill off all three of these favourites. According to the Stranger Things Worlds Turned Upside Down, the official behind-the-scenes companion, try saying that 3 times, the Duffer Brothers wanted them to bite the dust. Their quote was, "Eleven was going to sacrifice herself to save the day. That was always the end game. But once we realised that the show was potentially going to go on longer than 1 season, we needed to leave it more up in the air, because deep down we knew the show just really wouldn't work without Eleven. And at that point, we knew how special Millie was. If there was going to be more Stranger Things, Eleven had to come back." And on top of Eleven, the Duffers wanted to retire Steve permanently too. They were quoted saying he was just supposed to be this giant douchebag. He was saved because Joe Keery's performance was so good. Seriously though, imagine a second season without those two. Imagine there not being a second season at all. It's positively deranged and I'm very upset about it. This is all a facade. I'm actually going to go and cry in a bit. 3. Marvel are literally spoiling their own movie. Avengers 4 might well be the most spoiler-protected movie of all time. There are suggestions that fake scenes were filmed to throw off set snoops, the marketing has been almost entirely invisible, and it doesn't even have a title yet. It is a firmly closed book, or at least it was until the past few weeks when Disney seemed to realise that they need to dial up the hype on their forthcoming streaming service and have basically spoiled the fates of some of the characters in Avengers 4 in the process. In the past few days, we've seen the announcement of TV shows for Hawkeye, for Scarlet Witch and Vision, and for Bucky and Falcon, and it's pretty clear we're in heavy spoiler territory here. It's perfectly possible that Hawkeye series is a prequel, so no complaints there, but Bucky and Falcon literally only met during Civil War, and Vision and Scarlet Witch have no story to tell that hasn't already been told in the movies, unless we're just getting 6 episodes looking at their dirty weekends away in Scotland. I don't know, maybe that'll work. In other words, that's basically confirmation that Bucky, Vision, Scarlet Witch and Falcon all survive, because they can't logically be in prequel shows. Nice work there, Disney. Way to protect those invaluable plot points, you bunch of pillocks. 2. A Star is Born's ending was spoiled by a music video. A Star is Born is right up there with the Mamma Mia sequel in terms of surprising popularity, and if you need some evidence, just check the instant memeability of both of them. And a lot of that comes down to the power of Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's sweet, sweet music. The single Shallow has sat around the top of the charts for weeks now, and follow-up I'll Never Love Again is set for similar success. Unfortunately though, the heartbreaking song also comes with a music video that just plain ruins the ending of the movie. The lyrics are pretty loaded and it all basically reveals what happens to Bradley Cooper's character, Jackson Maine, though not exactly explicitly, which makes the decision to release it while the film is still in cinemas it's odd. It's a pretty odd decision. 1. Wyclef Jean, the musical, the cartoon. What? On the back of Netflix announcing their Santa Claus movie with Kurt Russell, there have been some questions over whether they might have too much money and not the best handle on what their users want them to actually make. That has now been fed into even more by the announcement that they're set to make an animated musical on the early life of Wyclef Jean, founding member of the Fugees. That is not to say that Jean doesn't have an interesting life or message to tell, but it has weird vanity project written all over it, and it's far from the crowd-pleasing or tentpole project you'd expect Netflix to be looking at. Now that has been Insane Things. Let me know what you think of this format and solid Jules thievery in the comment section below, and of course about the actual things that have happened too. We can talk about them. I'll be back next week with the more weird and wonderful workings of the film and TV industry, but for now, I've been Ash. This has been lovely. Something. Thanks for watching.